dive into this and let's try to open up the black box. Okay, let's try to open up the black box. So here we'll see this step by step. This is where it has started. So we have the observed, we have the sample customer data, and this these are the customers we have in our sample. Maybe let's take this as a 200 customers we have. Okay, out of that, the next step what we have to do is immediately, because we have two columns, one is charges, one is charges, and second one is churned customer and non-churned customer. Okay, there are two variables. One is charge, monthly charge, that is our target, and then second one is customer type, either churned customer or non-churned customer. So now immediately uh, to do this independent sample test, what we have to do is we have to split split the data set into two groups, churned customer and non-churned customer, and that's what. So we have divided them into two groups separately. We have made two groups. Now we got the two groups or two samples. Here it's a churned customers, and here it is non-churned customers. Okay, now once this is done, so then we will be calculating the mean monthly charges for both groups. Mean monthly, so group 1 mean monthly charges and group 2 mean monthly charges. Then we have to formulate the hypothesis here in this case to understand the relationship between whether statistical significance relationship between the two variables. One is monthly charges and second one is type of customers, churned customer and non-churned customer. So we have to formulate a hypothesis now. So what hypothesis we can formulate here? So all null hypothesis is there is no difference in the mean monthly charges between the churned and non-churned customer, which says the churned and non-churned doesn't affect the monthly charges. Basically there is no relationship between those two variables. There is no statistical significance relationship between these two variables. That's what, simply to put it in simple way, there is no relationship between the two variables. That's what is null hypothesis. And alternate hypothesis says there is a significant difference, which means there is a significant relationship between these two. That's what is our alternate hypothesis. Now step 5, based on the observed sample. So what is our observed samples? So this is our observed sample. So now I'm just opening up the black box. What exactly happens behind when you calculate the t statistic and say this is the probability with respect to the degrees of freedom? What is that? That black box I'm opening up. What exactly happened behind the doors? So based on the observed sample, so this is our observed sample we have. Now we will draw thousands of samples and calculate the, again, thousands of samples, and from each sample from there we will split that each resample, because we got 1000 resamples. From each resample we will split that resample into two groups, churned group and non-churned group, and again we'll calculate the mean monthly charge of churned group, mean monthly charge of non-churned group. So once we have drawn thousands of resamples, and for each resample we have calculated the difference between the churned and non mean difference between the churned and non-churned groups. Now we will take that mean difference of each resample and we will plot a sampling distribution. So this is the sampling distribution that we got, and on top of that I have added a I have added a students t distribution curve with respective degrees of freedom that we have got. So once this is done, now I have to perform t-test, and I have to calculate the t-statistic for the observed group or the main group. So using this formula, so mean of this sample churned minus mean of non-churned minus of null hypothesis basically is 0 divided by standard deviation of this group divided by sample size of this, and standard deviation of this group divided by sample size. So I got let me check. I got a t statistic of 9.16 which lies outside of the rejection region majorly. So here if you see, this is the t statistic which is 9.16, and then that actually fundamentally lies outside of the rejection region. So then we'll calculate the p-value for the observed t statistic using n1 plus n2 minus 2. So the p-value that I got is this much. It's very less. It's 0.00000002, maybe 2.004 into 10 power minus 17. So how big 10 power minus 17? It's too small. So that's the reason our p value would have come here somewhere. It's 0.0002 at this level, and 0.000002 comes somewhere here, exactly here. So that's the reason our p value is obviously. So now let me decide the level of significance. My level of significance is 0.05. So with that level of significance, this is my critical t value and this is my rejection region. With respect to t value also, it is falling outside of the rejection region, and with respect to the p value also, it is lesser than the level of significance. P value is 0.00000002, which is lesser than the 0.05. In any case, we have to reject the null hypothesis, and that's what the outcome we got. But the thing you have to understand is the opening the black box here is nothing but the plotting the sampling distribution using the mean differences. This is very, very important. Until unless you understand this, you will never understand what is happening behind the doors with respect to the uh, independent test when you say p value or t value. So reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is a statistically significant difference in the mean monthly charges between the churned and non-churned customers. Hence we say there is a statistically significant relationship between those two variables, which is your monthly charges and then type of customer, churned or non-churned.